Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Pens and Feathers. Whew, it's been a while since I last posted one of these. I think it's been over a month, but anyways, this time we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit. And instead of focusing on one of my dessert girls, we're going to do a little fan art. And I recently hit 10,000 subscribers on Twitter, and I did a fan art of Nagatoro, if any of you are familiar with her. From the manga and now recently released anime, Don't Toy With Me, Don't Bully Me, whichever translation you prefer. Don't don't bully me, Miss Nagatoro. So kind of like Uzaki-chan, she's pretty popular right now and she's fun to draw, so I figured I would draw her. And like always, if you like my content and you want to see more, just check out all the relevant social links below in the comments section. Alright, let's get drawing Nagatoro. So I've been reading Nagatoro for a while now, and the thing that really got me into it, or initially, was the way the creator Nanashi drew faces. I was just really captured me how expressive he drew Nagatoro's face. Kind of reminded me of Bill Watterson. He's another one of my all-time favorites. He was the creator of Calvin and Hobbes, and I kind of looked at it the way he used to draw faces, and for some reason the way Nanashi draws faces with Nagatoro really stuck out to me. I think that was the first thing that attracted me to this series. So the next thing I think that drew me to the series is, I think this probably happens with a lot of people too, is you kind of get drawn to things that are considered problematic or things that cause outrage. Now, since I've been reading Nagatoro for a while, this was prior to the anime outrage that released, but I remember when the manga came out, it stirred a little bit of controversy, so that kind of is what drew me to it. Just the same thing as like with Uzaki-chan, Goblin Slayer, Rising of the Shield Hero, Interspecies Reviewers, all these titles that caused, a ruckus, naturally drew me to them, and I've liked all of them. So maybe that's one of the things if anyone out there is trying to start an independent title or series or whatever. They say all publicity is good publicity. Maybe there's some truth behind that, but all I know is that I've liked all of these titles that have been considered problematic and have kind of ruffled some feathers. So, have I ever talked about how much I am not good at drawing clothing? Because I'm not. It's something about the folds in fabric. It's just something that I kind of get it. I kind of get how they're supposed to naturally, how gravity works and how it's supposed to fold in on top of each other and the way different fabrics behave. But I gotta be honest, it's drawing clothing, the folds in clothing is just one of the hardest things for me. I do need a lot of visual representation. Otherwise, I just look at it when I'm done and I just see like this just does not look right. The way the clothing falls across certain body parts, or the way the lines are in the folds, it just doesn't look natural. So, and the thing with Nagatoro is she's got a lot of her skirt, there's a lot of folds in her skirt, and she kind of bunches up her sleeves up to her forearms and stuff. So I had to look at a lot of references with her just to get those folds to somewhat look right, in my opinion. On a side note, I've discovered that people really like seeing Razzie wearing stirrups. Go check out her Twitter to see what I'm talking about. So just a little something I wanted to make clear. The little thumbnail Nagatoro I've got in the right hand corner, That was a fan art I did for my 10,000 K subscriber on my Twitter, which thank you for everyone who's followed me. I kind of did that just as a thank you fan art. I flip-flopped it here, so if she looks a little different, like with her earring, she has her earring and her barrettes are in the right side of her head and her ear. That's why it's kind of flipped here. But anyways, we're going into the coloring portion, and so the other thing too is I was talking about like outrage a little earlier about just the Nagatoro anime and all that. I have noticed something too on Twitter also, another kind of outrage where it's some artists being dogpiled on if they don't have the skin tone down just right, if it's not the correct darkness, I guess. That was like it really kind of took me by surprise, because some of these paintings of her, it hasn't not just her, but there have been some other characters in the past too, where it depends on how the lighting falls or on the character. It's gonna, depending on the style that the artist is using, it's gonna tint the skin in a certain way. And I saw this one. I'm trying to remember who it was. Maybe it was like Nessa or so. It was a very pastel-y like painting. And it was just the whole piece was just a very pastel, so I guess it just naturally made her skin look a bit lighter. But ooh boy, I hope that never I hope that crowd never comes for me, because I think that's a bit going too far. Some pretty terrible things I saw were said about artists, where it's just it just really just comes down to how they're illustrating that particular scene, as far as maybe lighting or shadows, or maybe they're getting a little bit funky with the whole color palette in general. But yeah, I don't know. I've noticed sometimes some wacky things happen on Twitter, and I just shake my head. Just a little follow-up on what I was talking about earlier when it comes to outrage and stuff. One of the things about artists is I guess, in some ways, and not all artists, but I guess in some ways they do have this kind of image about them that they're supposed to shock, they're supposed to outrage you. I guess in some ways we wouldn't have certain types of entertainment if that didn't happen in the past, like certain music and games and stuff. We definitely wouldn't have certain types of anime, like Interspecies Reviewers, which is one of my favorites. So I'm glad some artists decided to wanted to be a little bit outrageous and make that. But I do think a bit of outrage is good, but not all of them. Because what did Syndrome say in The Incredibles? If everyone's super, then no one will be. I guess that goes for like outrage and shock. If everyone's doing it, then it's just not shocking anymore. It becomes boring. And here we have the finished Nagatoro. Thanks again, everyone, for tuning in for another edition of Pens and Feathers. Again, I'm sorry it took me about a month to get out another public one. Just losing more and more time every day dealing with projects and stuff. I am kind of in the process of beginning to move, so I'm gonna try and get back on the public ones as fast as I can. But I'd just like to thank everyone, and especially I'd like to thank my 234 patrons, especially Matt, Forte, PK Ultima, Nex, Mularu, Emily, Darian Blood, Neo Fox, Garebear 94, Isaac Lilac, Darkington Foxworth, Kevin, Willow, Crow Cornstalk, and Flackman 97. Thank you very much. So that'll do it for this episode of Pens and Feathers. Thanks again for showing up. Make sure to check out all my social links again. Drop a like and a comment if you're so inclined. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Check out Raspberry's Twitter. Lots of crazy stuff going on in there. And also check out Don't Bully Me Nagatoro. It's actually a really funny manga. See you in the next one.